hard for you at 15 to get on this stage with all of us looking at you speak on behalf of teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did a really good job of that. You did a really good job. And so I would love to welcome you as part of our organization, man, and we'll pair you up with somebody, man, and we'll just keep building.
Hold on, Don. I'm gonna challenge you there, because one of the things Don didn't say about his son was, and see, because I know him personally. Y'all remember in El Paso when the guy went to Walmart shooting up Walmart?
Yeah.
But Don's son goes to school in El Paso.
He had just left that Walmart, and
so how were you? I mean, as a father,
man,
what were you processing?
Bro, we were helpless. Like that was that happened like late on a Saturday night, right? Early Sunday morning. We were, and my wife and I, we couldn't go to church. It happened on Saturday, but I just remember we were just laying in the bed and just in fear. He's 9.5 hours away from me. Even if I wanted to get up and run to him, right? But Katie, I can go back even further than that. My son is my stepson, okay? But I've raised him since he was 2. He's mine. He called me dad, I call him son. He looks just like Trayvon Martin. And so my son had this thing that, Daddy, when he was a little kid, he'd say, Daddy, I'm not black, I'm brown. And I said, well, son, you more khaki or beige, but that's fine. I mean, we'll work on your colors, you know. And you know, at the time we were living in Duncanville, and he'd beat some white kids in the race, and they'd call him a nigger. But that didn't resonate with him. It didn't hit him, right? Wasn't until Trayvon Martin. Because my son didn't understand when Barack Obama was elected president, I bawled and on my living room floor like I was Florida on Good Times, you know, and James had just got died. James just got killed. Damn. And he was like, Daddy, what's wrong? I was like, man, I never thought I would live to see this, man. But that's not the world that he was growing up in until Trayvon died. And my son loved tees. He still loves hoodies. And he looks like Trayvon. He's tall and slender. He looks like Trayvon Martin. And that resonated with him. And it was at that moment I began to realize the error of my parenting. Because I was saying, I'm pushing this boy to be great, and he's making straight A's and all that's well and good. But if he can't talk to me, that's right. If he don't know he can always come home with no matter what it is and receive that love, then have I done my job as his protector? As the first God figure in his life that he'll ever know. Because God don't do me like that. Why am I doing him like that? And so so when that happened, we finally made contact with him. And by this point, we had worked on our relationship enough to where, you know, he felt comfortable to open up about how he feel. And I'm like, man, it is okay. It is however you feel is how you feel. And I was at the point like, if you say, Daddy, I'm ready to come on, you know, I'm okay with it. Was I gonna like it? No. But I'm okay with it because, again, you matter. At your 15-year-old self, you mean the world to your mother. I promise you do. You mean the world to all of us. And I can't imagine a world with him not in it. So I'll just leave it at that.
No, thank you for having me. So before we really go to our next artist, I'm gonna come get you, right? Raise your hand. There's 2 things I want to do. I want to shout out Miss Sherry from Lighthouse Wellness. I'm gonna give you. I want you to tell us about what you all have. I'm gonna give it up for you. You clap for it.
Okay.
Thanks, King. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to the Art Inspired Collective. My name is Sherry Doucette. I'm the founder of Lighthouse Wellness. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
We're a nonprofit organization where we center the wellness of our Black men. Hey. So we have this new initiative that starts on Sunday called The Doc, right on the corner of M&M, that's Martin and Malcolm, at 5 p.m. So I've assembled a team of Black male therapists, and this is free group therapy healing sessions.
Give it up for that. That's amazing. Give it up for that.
Sunday at 5 p.m. on the corner of M&M. Yes, brother? I know, right? That's amazing. So there's a QR code you can scan on your phone, and you can register so you can be in that place starting tomorrow.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I asked this young brother to stand up because his mom came. She was like, I really wanted my son to be here. He's 18. I'm gonna run home and get him. I said, where you live? Oak Cliff? I said, well, you got enough time. I didn't know she really had enough time. You know, Oak Cliff big. She could live off Cedar Ridge somewhere, right? Next to Duncanville. But I'm glad she went and got her son, because as Dawn was talking about his son looking like Trayvon, right? She told me her son was 18. Y'all remember Mike Brown, right?
Yeah.
Y'all remember, her son's probably one of the sweetest, nicest young men you'll probably ever meet. But he's this size, and he's black. What kind of fear does that put in you when your son go out? Now, I mean, we don't have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Let's read.
I get nervous. When he was little, it's always been where I've had to talk with him on how to be careful about his movements. And when he was growing up, he's like, Mom, you don't have to do all that. That's too much extra. Be an extra, Mom. You don't have to do all that. But I was like, you don't understand. You really don't understand. You don't understand how people see you. And you're my precious one, you know. And so, yeah, going out and about, he has got his hands in the pockets right now. Keep your hands to yourself, you know, make sure that you're watchful of the people around you, and be careful about the things that you say. So it's always been nerve-wracking for me. But as time went on, I had to release the fact that he's not just mine. He's ultimately God's. Okay, so he came through me, but he's God's. And so I ask God to cover him all the time. And, you know, when he's not in my care, you know, I don't have control, but someone else can watch over him. So, but he's got a community of people that watch over him and love on him. And so I've been blessed along the way.
Well, yeah.
I think one of the main things I took away from my mom was that true fear is the absence of hope. True fear is the absence of hope. And when my mom told me that story just now of how in her care, I was like the most valuable, precious thing to her. And the thought of just of me being gone or being away from her, it's just.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta cry in the car.
You cry here.
Yeah.
Emotions are real.
Well, it's two quick things, KD, and I know we got to go on with the program. I'm sitting next to a football coach, and he wants me to ask you if you play football anyway. Anyway, you play basketball? Okay. Well, we can put a jersey on and have him walk out the bus. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's all we need is somebody to walk out the bus first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we'll help you get there. But how many fathers do we have? How many fathers do we have in the room? I'm gonna talk to the fellas. Let's stop doing this in front of our boys and girls. Let's stop acting like every day is a good day. I thought that being a father meant you had everything together, right? That you were always under control, right? You know, nothing never flustered you. You never flabbergasted about nothing. Everything, you know, everything is everything, right? That's not realistic, because your kids grow up and they realize that ain't life, right? And life is hard and it's ugly and it's this and it's that. Our kids need to see us and our emotional states go up and down. So when their emotional states go up and down, they won't think it's something wrong with them. That's the problem church folk got right now. Amen. I'm an ordained pastor. I can talk about my people. You dress it up and you put the perfume on. You know, some of y'all still wearing white diamonds. Y'all need to leave that alone. But you dress it up. And you act like you ain't never have a bad day, and then that sister come in with a split up to yonder, and you got a problem with her, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta understand, if you act like you ain't never had a bad day, then the folk can't relate to you, because that ain't real. So daddies, let's let our daughters see how we still love and respect the women in our lives, even when we are sad. My daughters need to see me cry on my wife's shoulder and say, baby, I'm frustrated. Right now, I have one of my mentees in my own program in Lou Sterrett that has troubled my sleep all week as I've been dealing with his mom and we're trying to get to the bottom of it and all this kind of stuff. And that has bothered me. And I've learned to be honest with my wife and with my daughters who are still in the house. That is sad. I don't want to see another black man, and I can't walk around like that. Don't bother me. That gives a false sense of what reality is. That's not being a man. That's not being a man. Being a man is being in control of your emotions, but recognizing that you do have emotions. So I just leave it.
All right.
Thank you, man. I really wanted to, first of all, commend this young man for the courage. Man, you grew up tonight, and I really appreciate the fact that you had the courage to get up there and say that. I want to talk about this guy's comment about resources. I have a foundation similar to doing some stuff that Lighthouse is doing. It's called Bridging the Gap. And what we do is we try to bridge that gap to get people into therapy. Once a person has acknowledged that they need some help, and that's the first thing. You're not going to go until you acknowledge that you got some problems and you need some help. But if you want to go, our foundation will pay for you to have 10 sessions. We'll do that. We will bridge that financial gap so that you can access some mental health services with a culturally competent therapist. So,
Said that part.
If you want to, if you or your friends, y'all need to, you got a mentor, I can get you a therapist.
Give it up for that. That's amazing. Good work. All right, we're gonna keep the conversation going, but I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna have Greg. My bad, Greg. Here you go.
I just want to give you a compliment. Stand up real quick. Brother, you killing the clothing game, brother.
Look at him, yeah, you fly,
Look
right?
good.
You fly,
Look
like
real good.
that boy fly over there. Yeah, he fly over there.
Dripping that sauce.
Man, we're gonna keep the questions going, but I'm going to bring up, it's our last artist for the night. We're not done. We're gonna close out with even more questions and discussion. This brother, he's an incredible poet. He's gonna have you thinking. And he's probably going to offend you because that's what he does best. But he don't run up on him. He's like a certified trained martial arts and weapons expert. And before I bring him up, I want to tell y'all this is like Rain always had me thinking I was going to jail. I gotta say this right here. So y'all remember July 7th in Dallas, right? Y'all, if you know anything about the city of Dallas, you know what happened July 7th, right? So they said, Don, you was down there. Jules, I know y'all was down there. Rain was down there, right? But Rain down there a little different. Yeah. Rain down there in mask, like full-fledged gas mask. Rain's always usually heavily armed, legally. And he's also going at it. So I'm at home. July 7th is actually my wedding anniversary, you know. We was married 7/7/07.
Hey.
I was at home, you know, wedding anniversary thing. I saw Rain on TV. I told my wife, I said, they're gonna be knocking on my door probably. They're about to come see us. Rain about to go to jail, and they're gonna come get everybody that know it. And I think because Rain and I we was like recently together that week doing something. You know? And I was like, well, y'all about to go to jail tonight. Because it just felt like that. Like if you was black in the city, after all those cops got shot, if you was associated with anybody in that space, and Rain did go to jail that night. They was coming to see you. And so I just want to say, because there's people in this room that literally put their physical body's life on the line. Like no joke. And they just happen to be artists. Right? They happen to be doing amazing things. So please, Rain is truly that cousin that took a while to graduate. So clap like he that cousin that took a long time to graduate. As we bring Rain Epa, representing the Proud Sugar Lounge to the stage.
Hey. Okay.
And he usually threatens us about the mic set. I'm sorry, Rain. I'm Sorry, let me help him out. You know, he we lean to play you. Cause you know you just he'll do it right there. That's right? Okay. I'm like, appreciate it. You knew that was too high. My bad, I should have put it on Sesame Street. You laughing hard at that, bro. That's what we're doing? Okay, that's how you know what? It really was. I know, I was funny. Short man live longer. Man. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Y'all good?
All right.
Good? Yo, first of all, I just got to say thank you, King Shakur. Thank you, Gino. He's somewhere gone. Nikki, thank you. Art Inspired Healing, is that? Y'all give that a round of applause for real. They're always putting on excellent events. Thank you, community. Thank you, South Dallas Cultural Center. For real. So I'm not gonna hold y'all up too long. I do have to give a lot of accolades to this beautiful young lady right here. Y'all lyric right there. Give her a round of applause. For me, going through pain, you got to have that friend that's not gonna always agree with you.
Right.
You got to have that friend who knows the difference between when it's time to give you advice and it's time to just give you an ear. That's lyric right there, y'all.
Bless.
Okay. So, how many of y'all familiar with the relationship coaches that be on YouTube and stuff? Relationship? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I accidentally dated one of them. Yes. So, after I got fired, because she ain't dumped me, she fired me. Like, she fired me. Like, I had to read my shit on the email. You know what I'm saying? No, seriously. And then, after reading on the email that I got fired, she did this whole YouTube video on me, so I'm getting death threats and it was, serious. And one thing that I have to say, one of the people that I talked to after I got fired, who gave me a lot of love, y'all, King Shakur, he just gave me an ear. And real talk, I don't think you remember that conversation we had, but y'all, he just listened, like, just instead of you know what I'm saying? So, this piece is titled, Pit Phone, Pain in the Form of Metaphors. Emotionally, she was a Trump supporter disguised as a Black Lives Matter. And as I fell for her organic kale, it started to digest me like a chitlin platter. You see, I offered this woman my world in exchange for her heart. It wasn't enough. Offered her inspiration, dedication, and attention to detail. Wasn't enough. Offered her stability, humility. I even started buying some Kate Spade, and I'm gonna say it one more time, y'all. Wasn't enough. You see, loving her was like I purposely put my newborn baby in a car accident. A 17-car pileup every time she powered up, and whenever I tried to empower her, she cite me a ticket for not shutting the fuck up. It's a head-on collision if I argue my point, but it's a rear end if I stay mute. And if I decide to get my keys and leave the driver's seat, she would threaten me with road rage pursuit. She judged, jury, and eyewitness that I can never change for the better. Got me back on public transit because she suspended my love license forever. You see, loving her was like, let me hear y'all say relationship coach.
Relationship coach.
One more time.
Relationship coach.
One more time.
Relationship
It
coach.
was like dating an online doctor with no PhD, credential certified through a Dr. Seuss degree. Our first 8 conversations was about how she wasn't over her last patient and how he chose to expose himself to interns versus her jaded consultations. Buying into her empathic malpractice, I made my co-payments using my heart's compensation. You see, the funny part is, her success rate in surgery was 0-13, but she says, you don't have to be successful when you know how to cater to people's dreams. Her medical staff consisted of 45-year-old Hannah Montanas that would follow her to hell wearing 6-inch heels if it guaranteed them a role on the Housewives of Atlanta. See, I defied my inner third eye I defied my inner third eye when I decided to listen to her pyramid scheme drive. I mean her Facebook lives. Yeah. But unlike most black men, my detoxification would not consist of a multi-women cleanse. Instead, I bleed the blood bank of my brain using my poetry as my syringe. See, her best friend said that I was half of a man.
for discussing my relationship transactions. And perhaps I'm supposed to be most black men and hold it all in, dying early from emotional constipated reactions. Since I'm half the man, Miss Best Friend, for purging poetically to restore my mind's vital, Miss Best Friend, then why did you nominate me for her relationship title, Miss Best Friend? Funny, I was Rain is great, Rain is awesome. I was her activist idol, and after one misled conversation, I graduated to being your rival. You see, my ex would misconstrue courtship, compromise, and concern as somebody trying to control her life like the Don. And once again, I've laid the blueprint for another man to win because indirectly, I was addicted to Miss Wrong. Thank you. One more piece and I promise I'll be out of y'all here. Y'all ready? I'm a man, like, I cry every payday. Number one. So yes, I cry every payday. And so I started feeling good crying, so I started writing crying poetry. Y'all ready? Possibly, maybe. I told myself that I was going to stop doing everything that reminds me of her. So yesterday, I quit my job.
Damn.
Seeing how this Jezebel was the juice that prevented me from breaking loose, oh hell, let me tell y'all the truth. I got fired for insubordination, assault, and terroristic threats. But at least she's no longer in my mindset because see, I told myself that I was going to stop doing everything that reminds me of her, which probably explains why I haven't eaten in 10 days, 9 hours, 7 minutes, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. You see, these sacrifices have to be made in order to conquer and subjugate these inebriated emotions set by an unworthy mate. But you know what? That's okay, because last Friday, I went to Park Lane and started a fight with every essay that I saw doing White King. And as I got my ass drugged up and down the club, I was beaten until there was no more blood. I would happily pay my $20 again for another ass whipping just so I wouldn't have to think about her. See, she's the enemy that energizes my inner eagerness that wants to be surrounded by her happiness. I'll say that again. See, she's the enemy that energizes my inner eagerness that wants to be surrounded by her happiness. And the fact that our relationship is now inoperative makes me want to forget everything about it. See, I told myself that I was going to start doing things that didn't remind me of her, which is why some Saturday morning, I purchased $700 worth of groceries on my $4 debit card. And as it declines time after time, I start arguing that this machine must be blind. And after the supervisor and the manager all argue that I'm broke, they just don't know that this is what I'm doing to get this woman out of my mind. See, I told myself that I was going to start doing things that didn't remind me of her, which is why some Friday afternoons, I purposely hold up traffic in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I would get out of my car like something is really wrong, taking up 2 lanes on a one-way street when I'm really taking voice messages on my cell phone. See, I told myself that I was going to start. You know what the fuck is poem? Woman, I miss you. I miss you so much that sometimes when I'm home alone, I pretend like I'm talking to you. I act like you're here holding me, head nodding to Jill Scott's melody as we indulge in the integration of masculine and feminine. Miss Lake, you run through my mind so much that you get my memory and asthma attack. So this time, I'm asking you to come home instead of coming back. But until then, I'll just keep writing poems about the things we used to do. Woo!
It's that brown sugar lounge. Woo! Rain, real quick. I'm telling about tomorrow.
Sure. Can y'all hear me? Oh, I sound tall, did y'all? What? I can ask me anything right now. But y'all want to ask me no questions, because I'm going to tell you the truth. Nah, I'm not going to hold up any more time. Y'all, the Brown Sugar Lounge tomorrow, our theme is a letter to your ex. So we're going to get some happy poetry. We can get some sad with it. We're really big, just like Brother King Shakir says, just getting it out and providing you a safe space to do it. So Brown Sugar Lounge, sugar with an H, the Brown Sugar, I thought it was spelled with an H, but it's not. But hey, that's how it is. So run it all together. The Brown Sugar Lounge, A Letter to My Ex. We get down every fourth Saturday. Thank you again. Thank you.
Is it sold out yet, Lyric? Is it sold out yet? Is it sold out? Tomorrow show.
No, we got 8 tickets left.
All right, so I'm gonna cover 2 tickets for anybody that want to go. Just DM me. I pay it. Rain, I'm good for it. I got your Lyric. So y'all want to go tomorrow? Go to me. Tell you, Brown Sugar Lounge is one of my. Man, I love it. I love it. Yeah, give it up. Yeah. All right, so we coming to a club. I want to make sure to create room for a couple of more questions. And I definitely want to take them from the audience. So if anyone in the audience had any questions for any man in here, for either our panelists, our artists, or for any man in here, we definitely want to give you all the opportunity to ask questions. In the back. She got her feet up. Her heels like 8 feet tall.
Hi, everybody. My name is JJ Reynolds. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Urban Village, and the question that I have for any man to ask, that we're asking everyone tonight, is what are just some things that you're doing to protect your mental wellness?
Any man that want to, Don, I got you. So yeah, any man that want to answer that one, start with Don, and I'll pass the mic around.
You said to protect our mental wellness?
Yeah, she said, what are you doing to protect your mental wellness?
I'm actually relying on the people around me. For the first time in a very long time, I lost my very best friend during the pandemic. Not because of the pandemic, but he. You heard about the military, some Marines suing the government. I don't know if you guys remember hearing about this. It bubbled up late last year. Well, he was one of the people when he was stationed overseas. It was downwind from a burn pit, and a bunch of Marines now have sarcoidosis. He had a very aggressive form of sarcoidosis, and so after 10 years, he lost his battle. I did not realize how much not having him impacted everything for me. And so I broke down during the pandemic. Ugly cry. I cried the sheets out and everything. And I said some stuff to my wife of 20 years that she looked at me and said, you have never said this to me. I never knew you felt like this. You don't act like you deal with this. And I'm looking at her like, how do you not, we are together together. She like, you, but I didn't realize as a man, I had just ingrained what you just said in your first piece. Just pack it in. Pack it in, pack it in, pack it in, pack it in. When we were all stuck at home in the pandemic, you couldn't go nowhere with it. You couldn't run from it, you could not work it, you couldn't do anything about it. So I'm utilizing the people around me. I'm talking more to my children, real conversations, especially my adult children, real conversations, not surface level, but to my spouse, to my parents, who I'm still grateful they're still alive and in their right minds and all that. We're having real dialogue. And last thing, when somebody pisses me off, I tell them.
What?
As a pastor, we don't always do that. Like we take y'all crap and be like, God bless you, may He keep you. And I'm like, no, come back here, sister. We can get this straight. You know, I don't appreciate the way that you talk to me, and I'm not gonna do you that way. I do it respectfully, right? But I'm not gonna put up with nobody's crap no more. And as black men, and listen, I'm not trying to compare black men pain to black women pain. Because the most unprotected body in the world is a black woman. Period, point blank, by black men. R. Kelly just got 20 more years. Argue with your mama about it if you don't like it, but he just got 20 more years tonight. Yeah. And he deserved more, in my opinion. But anyway, the fact that we don't know how to go to you being our wives, our sisters, our cousins, and be our true authentic selves may show that there's some toxicity in our relationship. If I gotta keep my mask on even when I'm at the house, then maybe you don't love me, you just love the image of me. And so I took off my mask. I took off my mask about 6 months into the pandemic, and I finally ran away from it. And it has freed me up in so many different ways. But if I could just simplify it, I just really became myself. And I just stopped worrying about, and there's an old Baptist song. It's called, the chorus is "Living My Best Life. I ain't going back and forth with you."
Yeah. By the Pastor Lil Duval.
By Pastor Duval. Yeah, that's an old church hymn. That's an old 100. We can do that called responsive.
And Deacon Snoop Dogg.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's how I do it. I just try to be my authentic self, my real self at all times. No more eggshells, no more nothing. This is me.
Yeah. All right. Let Greg answer that question too. And what are you doing right now to protect your mental health?
Yeah, well, I think expressing yourself, not feeling like you have to hold those emotions in. There's different ways to express yourself, but I think taking the time to see, to find yourself, to see what outlets allowed you to kind of shut it off mentally and just relax. Find some me time, if you would. I enjoy content, creating content, movies. So I like to go to the movies. I will go to a movie that's about over and catch the last 30 minutes just to get in, eat some popcorn, drink some soda, and just to shut this off for a while. So you have to find some time for you, in my opinion, and that's what has helped me tremendously. And going after those things that you desire to do. Like I said, I do movies, I do plays. Some of you may have seen some of my work, but pursuing those things that brings joy and satisfaction to you. Each and every person has different gifts and talents, and if you're not allowed to express those gifts and talents, it builds up frustrations. Those frustrations tend to lead to mental turmoil, and so I think it's important to be fulfilled as a person. So you have to be what appears to be sometimes a little selfish, but you gotta take care of you.
And take yourself on a date, brothers. Take yourself on a date by yourself. Date yourself. I'm serious. Date yourself. We don't self-love ourselves enough. Date yourself, man. Seriously.
But take your girl's car when you take yourself on that date.
Hey, okay.
I'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it.
Says the man with joint checking accounts. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is,
Hold on, sorry.
why is it
Speaking to the mic for me.
Okay, so why is it hard for, African American community, we do not go to a therapist? And I'm curious to know why you do not, because my son was 15 and said, okay, I want to kill myself. So when you come to that as a parent, because I didn't realize, and this is like, I guess for all of us to pay attention to, we gotta pay attention to our kids. Because a lot of times they're not saying things and you have to really listen to what they're not saying. So I didn't realize he was suffering from things that, his dad got divorced and he wanted to live with his dad. I never knew. So that was not communicated. So his dad told him, well, you have to stay at home and take care of your mom and your brother. So for years I had problems with him. Keep in mind, he went to DeSoto, graduated top of his class, full ride to UT Austin. Now he's at SMU, full ride, going to law school. But I did not know, he taught me a lot. I did not know that he had a problem or what, I thought it was, oh, you're just acting out. Well, when I first realized, he ran away. And when he came back and said, I wanted to live with my dad, but he told me I had to take care of you and my brother. So all those years that was resentment. And I didn't know. So as we started chipping away at it, then I started to be honest. And a lot of times us as parents, we don't, like you said, Pastor, we don't want to chip away at it and be transparent. So as a parent, I had to be transparent with them to say, yes, your feelings are valid, but I had to say, you could not live with him because he did not want you to. And I really had to say that because I work in corporate America, very successful, didn't want to seem like I was chipping away at a black man.
Right.
So I had to break it down to my son. So as we started to chip away at it, he started to understand that was not his responsibility to take care of me or his brother. But I didn't understand that because he had resentment. So once we broke that down, he had anxiety. But one key thing he did at UT, he went and got a therapist. Because he taught me a lot. He taught me how, one day I said, do you do everything I ask you to do when you're away at school? He says, no. And, well, he said yes, but sometimes I'm muggy about it. So I'm like, well, why are you muggy? Because, and this goes for us as black women, because I told you, because you will say, I told you, you better not. So he taught me like, dang. So I'm thinking like, here I am, paying for this, doing this, and you telling me how to treat you. But it really made me think about it. So one day he had spent a lot of money, and I just said, well, let me use his philosophy, see if it works. How about you not, I just called him and said, hey, see, you spend a lot of money, how about you not do that? He said, okay. So it's the way we have to learn how to treat a black man. We have, as even our sons. So it's twofold. So us as parents, we gotta listen to our kids. Like I commend that young man for being here, but my sons have actually taught me how to be a better parent. Now they come to me and talk to me about everything. Even stuff I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about girls and all of that stuff, but they have taught me how to be a better parent. So when they call me on the phone from school or whatever, it's an open dialogue. But we weren't taught that growing up. We grew up kids are to be seen and not heard.
That's right.
We shut them down, but we have to kind of change it. So my question is, when you know as an African American man you have an issue, why do you not go to a therapist? Do you feel like it's degrading to go? And I'm just curious.
I'm gonna let this brother right here go and then Judah. But I wanted to say one of the things that you highlighted your husband did to your son was he gave him a burden that wasn't his to take care of you. And that just he was carrying something and not knowing how to carry it. Yeah. And a lot of times as adults, we gift our kids gifts that they never asked us for. Right? I didn't know my little cousin was hey. And she know where I'm from. You know the gift that I was given? Right? What I had to carry? And how does that break you down? So when my 23-year-old sister was found dead, I had no room to grieve. You know what I had to do? I had to pay for a funeral. I had to take care of my mama. I had to take care of the kids she left behind. And then 5 years later, it hits me. I haven't grieved. Or I'm at a oratorical contest seeing my niece on stage who looks just like my sister, and I'm crying because I haven't grieved. Right? So I never had the room to do that. Some therapist what? Like I said, my therapist is my damn car. And the music in there, right? So that's mine. Go ahead, brother, and I'm gonna get this mic to Julie.
Okay, I just want to say, first of all, my name is Joe Pleasant. I work at Lincoln High School. I'm a reset coordinator there. I'm a reset coordinator there. So one of the things that our district is using is instead of suspending kids and getting them kicked out of school, we, as reset coordinators, we bring them in and we get to the bottom of their issues. What is causing them to act the way they do? What is causing them to fight? What is causing them to cuss a teacher out? What's the underlying conditions that they're doing? What I find out this is the second year of the program, one thing that I find out is, like we've been talking about, it's kind of like a generational curse. Shakur talked about how he was telling, hey, you're a boy, you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And I don't know, not now, father who doesn't teach their son to be strong. But when the son is too strong, how do you know how to, they don't know how to cut it off and cut it on. They don't know how to be vulnerable. They don't know how to speak. And not only we have a lot of broken homes where there's the mom that's the one who's taking care of the son, or raising the son on their own. And she's also telling the son, hey, you a boy, you're supposed to take care of yourself. One day you're gonna be the man of this house. You need to know how to be the man of this house. But you're being taught to be strong, but not to be vulnerable. So a lot of our children, a lot of our kids grow up thinking that way, and they see that every day. They walk around life and they walk around their friends, and all their friends, they're being taught to do the same thing. And they join together and they grow together, and I'm tough, I'm strong. But when do they have that time to be vulnerable? When do they have that time to be a child? When do they have that time to really think about the things that are going on? So when you're saying that your son dealt with a lot of stuff that he didn't know, that's because he had to, due to the circumstances.
Yeah.
And it was never talked about when they were this little. It was never talked about when they were this little. It was talked about when they're 15, 16 years old. Now they gotta be tough and strong. Well, you're supposed to be taught to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry, baby. When you hear, it's okay to cry when you hear. It's okay to understand that things not gonna always go your way. And when you understand that, then it's okay now, I can be a better man. That's what teaches you how to be a better man. But you gotta get that understanding when they're young and they grow into it. And like I said, Dr. District is trying to do away with, we're dealing with a lot of mental health stuff in our program, the Reset Center program. We're dealing with a lot of things that's trying to teach our kids how to grow and teach our kids how to get that mindset of, okay, I gotta learn how to deal with my issues on a positive level. I gotta learn how to deal with this issue and not blow up. And one thing I always teach them is that, okay, you're mad, understand that being mad is a secondary emotion. You got to really figure out why you're mad. And once they start understanding that, then they start understanding, okay, let me tone it down a little bit. Now let me figure out what's really going on. And that's what the underlying condition is, or the underlying problem is. And that's a part of the mental health aspect that me as a man, it took me so long to figure it out that now I'm understanding more, okay, I got somebody to talk to sometimes. I need somebody to go and spend time with sometimes. I need that sometimes, that somebody is me. I just need to be able to sit down and think about the things that's going on. So, just want to talk.
All right, my brother.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let Julie go. It's after 9. We can keep this conversation going, and we can with Lighthouse Wellness, right? And we can. The brother of this program right here. So I'm gonna let Julie go, and I'm gonna bring up the Culture Center. Let them thank us for being here. This has been a great conversation. It's already 9 o'clock. Y'all give it up for yourself. You gotta keep this going. So Julie, I'm gonna let you go ahead, and then we'll start wrapping up.
I want to address you in your question.
Okay.
I feel, my name is Judah. I come from a background like King Ron. I ran the streets, I still run the streets, word on the street with Judah. I'm talking about, but I ran the streets hard. My mom wasn't there because she had to work, and my father was not in the home. I got involved in a lot of gang activity. I got involved in a lot of crime. What saved my life was a lawyer. I was standing in front of a judge, headed to prison, and the lawyer argued that it was not me, it was my environment. And he actually asked that judge to allow me to go to the military. He said, Judge, if you give this kid 8 weeks to join the military, will you let him go to the military and not send him? And the judge agreed. That's what saved me. There was no mental health, okay, back then. If there was, it was at a school. The problem is we don't have resources. I would like to ask a question. How many licensed therapists do we have in here?
I know we have, well, how many other licensed, do we have any licensed therapists in here? We have one right there. So we have one in here.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she can't take on everybody.
She can't.
She can't take on.
So when, after the military, I got married, I started a family, I thought I was a good man because I had a job, I was in the military. I never dealt with any of the trauma that I grew up with. So I ended up getting a divorce, and I'm gonna make this short, but what ended up happening is after my divorce was the first time I saw help. Okay, I went to a therapist, I talked to him, and I was actually diagnosed with PTSD. All of the violence, all of the stuff that I went through in the streets, I never knew that I had PTSD. Now let me inform you all, how do you get PTSD?
Trauma.
Wake up black in America.
There you go. Now, let me ask y'all this. How many of you know about bipolar disorder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know that bipolar disorder is a condition of PTSD?
Mm-hmm.
So, PTSD untreated turns into bipolar disorder.
Oh,
All right?
wow.
I learned this in my sessions. Now, my sessions were government funded. I couldn't find a private black therapist. I just asked how many was in here. We only had one. To this day, I can't find a private black therapist. We don't have the resources like other people have, because the things that we deal with, other people don't deal with. So when I'm sitting in front of someone who's not black, talking to them about my trauma, they don't understand that. They don't understand none of that. They don't understand none of that, what I'm talking about. You know, so I think that's a big part of the problem. And the last thing I want to leave y'all with is we have to deal with these issues. We are not only Word on the Street with Judy, we are Suits for Judy. When I say we, I mean me, Nicole right here, Latasha, and Kenneth. Our organization, like I said, we run the streets. We deal with kids. We find them where they are. We deal with them just like they are. I work the grill, the jewelry outlet, because that's how I get close to them and connect to them, right? One of the things that we learned is 1 in 6 of every Texas prisoner comes from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and South Dallas. Okay? So I want to repeat that. 1 in 6 of every Texas prisoner comes from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and South Dallas. And if you know anything about prisons and you know anything about Texas, you know that Texas has the most prisons in the world.
Most private-owned prisons in the world.
Most private-owned prisons in the world. So we have to start dealing with the fact that we have there is a problem, but we're right in the middle of it. We're right here at South Dallas Cultural Center. We're right here in the middle of it. So events like this, events that you guys throw, Artist Inspired Healing Festival, South Dallas Cultural Center putting on things like this, these conversations, these are things that are going to lead to us being better. We have young people in here who now know that black people need therapists. Maybe they might take that route, right? So, conversations.
All right, so, like I said, I appreciate y'all. We'll call Carla. Carla is with the South Dallas Cultural Center. She is always gracious to be here doing these programs. Give it up for Carla. Jenna's not here. But, hey Carla, I didn't know something. I think you kept something from us. It's your birthday?
Happy birthday.
Her man is gonna say happy birthday. Come on, buddy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carla. Everybody join me because I'm not good at singing.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I wanted to make sure we shouted out, gave Carla happy birthday. Carla, before you close it out, Barbara, Nikki, Mika, y'all come on stage, please. Barbara, give it up for Barbara. I want to call Judah. Anybody, Judah, Nicole, I want to call the Art Inspired Healing Collective. Dallas, come over, Dallas. No Dallas Wise. Jared, come here, buddy. I want to, these people, Rain, King Rome, our panelists, can y'all come on the stage? Please give it up for the panelists.
Okay.
Mr. Joseph. Come on stage. Yeah, I want to Tyrone. Like, when we doing these events, Brother Kareem, come on, Brent. We're doing these events, this is like this is a lot, right? You hope people show up. You want the conversation to be fruitful, and it has been. And like we put our heart and our soul. Dallas, come over here. We put our heart and our souls into this, the things that we do.
Young billionaire, come on.
You know, and so I want y'all to see everyone who gave up their time, like working, running. Everybody has jobs and everybody's running. It's a Friday night. Y'all gave y'all time to have this conversation. That means a lot. And I really love like the crowd. Like, thank y'all for like really supporting. And we're gonna keep this going. Carla, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry y'all. Well, I'm happy to be spending my birthday with you guys.
How old are you?
I am 32 today.
Hey.
Give it up for them young people.
Oh, y'all.
But thank you guys for being here today. I hope you guys feel the community and feel the inspiration that's coming from here. I wanted to say art inspired, but just the inspiration of these conversations. And as we continue to do programming like this, I want you guys to continue to bring people to these conversations that we'll keep having. We have all different types of programs that happen here. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but please check us out, check out what they're doing, because they keep doing important work. And make sure you guys come out for May 6th for the Art Inspired.
The Art Inspired Healing Festival will be at Fair Park. The South Dallas Culture Center is actually sponsoring their music lounge live on stage at Fair Park. And so we're going to announce our headliner on March 1st, but we're going to be in Fair Park continuing these conversations, to having workshop. May have one hosted by Lighthouse Wellness. Different things going on site. So definitely keep up with us. Give it up for our executive directors.
And tag us in all the things that you recorded or took a photo of tonight. So, because we like to compile all that and show, you know, love.
And Art Inspired Healing. Or at two Inspired Peace. Yep.
And we're at the South Dallas Culture
At the
Center.
South Dallas Culture Center.
Thank you guys, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Make sure you meet a friend.
And as soon as you guys get out of here, I get to celebrate.
All right.